In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best cards right now in NBA 2K25 My Team on a tier list here ranking from S that goes all the way down to F tier, and we have about 75-ish of the best cards right now in My Team, all of the best cards at each position onto one tier list, and I'll be ranking of who I think are the best cards in this game, again from S all the way down to F tier. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you guys think are some of the best cards on My Team right now, and of course, let me know what you guys would change about my tier list. But looking at the first card, is going to be Dark Matter Zach Edey. And am I crazy to put Zach Edey in A tier? I might be, but I just don't think Zach Edey is a top 2 to 3 center in this game anymore. And I don't know if I really want to put this card in the S tier category when we have so many elite cards in this game. But Zach Edey is really good. 7'5" at center, 7'10" wingspan. He is an absolute monster. And I guess I could put him in S, but I do think he'll probably be at the lower S tier category. But we'll see later in the video, obviously, if we maybe want to move him down depending on how many cards we have in S tier, because I don't want to have like 15 to 20 cards in the S tier category. I want to only leave it to like the best of the best cards in this game, and I think there's a couple center cards, at least 2 to 3 centers that are better than Edey, but I guess we'll keep him in the S tier category for now. He is a beast at the center position. Looking at the next card is going to be Anthony Edwards, and a hard one to rank because, you know, especially this early on to the tier list, because you know, he's not a horrible point guard. He's 100 overall, he's 6'4" point guard, 6'9" wingspan, obviously has the great stats and badges. The thing about this card is his jump shot is just not great, but he does have the D-book fade. But then his just dribble sigs are not that great besides, like, you know, Kemba escape. I mean, Curry size up, Jalen Green dribble style. It's good, I guess. Like, the dribble sigs are definitely decent. I'm not a big fan of his behind the back, but he's still like a good point guard. So maybe like C or B tier is what I'm thinking. But again, there's so many great cards in this game. I'll go B tier for Ant for now. But again, I think he might be a lot lower than that later in the tier list. Talking about Dark Matter Dr. J, I think we go A tier. I still think he's one of the best shooting guards in this game. Is he like the best of the best anymore? No, but he still has a great behind the back, still has a great jump shot and really good stats and badges. Talking about Dark Matter Triple J, I think he's a great power forward option. Do I think he's A tier? I'm not 100% sure. I think he's really good at power forward, but again, there's so many great power forwards in this game. 6'10" at power forward, 7'4" wingspan. I think he's a good card. I think what I'm gonna do is probably drop Ant down to C tier and have Jared in the B tier category. I feel like that's a little bit more fair. Again, just so you guys know, these are the best of the best cards in this entire game. So any single card on this tier list is already really good. Any single card above like C or B tier are like some of the best cards in this game at their position. So let's take, for example, Scottie Pippen. I'm probably going to put in like C tier as well. You know, I know it sounds crazy to have him on the same tier as Anthony Edwards, but he's a good defender. He's 6'8" as shooting guard, 7' wingspan, really good defensive card. His jump shot isn't great, but it is greenable. He has no sigs, but still, he's a good enough card that I do think he deserves to be somewhere in that C tier category. Talking about Invincible Giannis, I mean, easily the best card in this game. Well, maybe not easily, but I would say he's the best card in this game. I mean, a really good jump shot, amazing dribble sigs. It's Invincible Giannis. He has perfect stats and badges. I mean, this card is just insane, and I do think is easily going to be in the S tier category. Talking about Dark Matter Hakeem, that's where I think he's like a perfect B tier type of card, sort of alongside Jaren Jackson Jr. They're good cards, but they're not like the best of the best power forwards in this game. But I do think Dark Matter Hakeem is a really good power forward option. J-Kid, I love this card. I think J-Kid is A tier. I think he's one of the best 3-hunting guards in this game, which you probably wouldn't expect when you hear Jason Kidd, you know, as a point guard. 6'4" point guard, 6'8" wingspan, is a really good defender as well. He has great stats and badges, especially on defense. But you take a look at the animations, and he's got one of the faster jump shots in this game. So really good for 3-hunting. He's also got the Pro 2 fade, also really good for 3-hunting. Then he's got the Garland dribble style, the Kemba escape, the shade behind the back. Like, it might not seem like it, but this Dark Matter Jason Kidd is one of the best scoring guards in this game, and I do think it makes him an A tier card. Talking about Paul George, I think C tier is fair for him if we're being completely honest. Brandon Roy, I would personally go B tier. I think B Roy is really good. I do think for me personally, he's like a step below Dr. J, even though I do think Dr. J and him are very, very close. But again, there's so many great cards on this list that there's going to be some like slight differences, and that's going to drop him down a tier, maybe put him up a tier. But I do think Brandon Roy is still a very good shooting guard option. Gonna have him in the B tier category. 100 overall Yao, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Again, just like Giannis, gonna be one of the best cards in this game. I think it's 1A, 1B between Giannis and between Yao. I mean, both these cards are just ridiculously tall for their position, and also maybe not Giannis is ridiculously tall, but just the size, you know, with Giannis at small forward is very, very valuable. Yao Ming is 7'6" at center, 7'9" wingspan with 97 speed, has a good jump shot on very quick timing. I mean, like, this card doesn't get more broken, but I think Giannis is still on that same level as a 100 overall Yao, but both of these cards are easily going to be in that S tier category. Michael Beasley, I feel like is also S. I think Michael Beasley is one of the best small forwards in this game. I think he's probably number 2, I guess, after Giannis, if we're not counting Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant is just a shooting guard and we're not counting him as a small forward, I do think Beasley's the second best small forward in this game. If we're counting Kevin Durant, then I think he's probably the third best small forward, but his jump shot is elite. I mean, he's just the pink diamond card with way better stats and badges, also a quicker jump shot and slightly better movement. I mean, he's just unreal at small forward. I do think Beasley is going to be an S tier card. I think 100 overall Kristaps is probably also an S. I mean, he's still 7'2", can play power forward, has a good jump shot, obviously crazy stats and badges. So I do think Kristaps is still an S tier card, maybe towards the bottom, maybe towards kind of the end of the S tier category, but I do think you still have to include this card in the S tier category. Now, talking about Chris Bosh, really good stats and badges, but like, is he much better than a Dark Matter Hakeem? I just don't like his jump shot, and I know he has good stats. I know he has good badges across the board, of course, but he's only like, maybe not only, but he's 6'11" with not like the best of player models. I'm just not a huge fan of his jump shot, but I guess he does have some good sigs. I guess you could go Chris Bosh in A, but like, would I rather use Chris Bosh over like a Jaren and a Hakeem? I'm not 100% sure, but I guess I think we'll go Chris Bosh in A tier for now. Talking about Jason Tatum, honestly a very mid card. I would say probably D tier if I'm being it's like, it's hard to have any of these cards in D tier. Like, I think we'll go Jason Tatum in C. I mean, I'm just not a huge fan of his jump shot, but I guess he is all the way around really, really good besides his jump shot, in my personal opinion. 100 overall Luka is good, but I don't think he's honestly A tier. Like, I would take J-Kid over him. Is that crazy to have Luka in B tier? Maybe, and I think a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I do think Luka is a B tier card. I think his movement is honestly not great. I think his jump shot is really good, but I think not having that movement really does hurt this card at the point guard position. Chris Webber, I would say at this point in the year is probably going to be A tier. I think there's 3 to 4 small forwards I would take over Chris Webber, but I do think he's still obviously amazing and easily going to be in that higher A tier category. Talking about Bargnani, he's solid as well. I would say he's like a step below the Hakeems and the Jarens of the world, in my personal opinion. I do think like he's a step below at power 4, but I do think he's underrated at the power 4 position. Rocco, basically the same card as Scottie Pippen. I think both these cards are going to be in that C tier category. Talking about Nick Young, really good offensive card, but I don't think you can put him any higher than B tier, just because of the actually, I'm going to put Luka in A. I'll probably go Luka in the low A tier category. But yeah, Nick Young, really good offensive card. Like, seriously, one of my favorite jump shots in this game. 6'7" shooting guard, 7-foot wingspan, really good release with that Cameron Thomas base, Benedict Mathurin upper on very quick. Could have used a better fade, but he does have like the Devin Booker dribble style, the Curry size up, the Kemba escape, the Jamal Murray behind the back. Really good movement, great slashing card, and good height and wingspan for the shooting guard position. He just doesn't really have much defense. You take a look at his stats, just not great defensively, but I think overall is still a B tier card. Talking about 100 overall Devin Booker, I think he pretty much goes on the same tier as Luka Doncic. I mean, both those cards are very overrated in my personal opinion. I don't think they're as good as some people expect them to be or some people say they are, but I do think they're great cards. I just don't think they're like these upper echelon best point guards in the game anymore, but I do think they probably deserve to be in that like lower A tier category. Talking about Galaxy Wemby, I think he's a better card than Zach Edey, personally, just at the center position because of his jump shot. I know he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have the strength that Zach Edey does. He's a little bit shorter, a little bit less wingspan, but I think his jump shot is a lot better than Zach Edey's. I think he also just gets better animations than Zach Edey. I think he's a better rebounder just because of the animations he gets. So for me personally, that's why I would probably drop Edey down to A, but I think for now we'll keep both these center cards in the S tier category. Talking about Aaron Gordon, probably our first F tier card on the tier list. I just don't think Aaron Gordon's jump shot is up to par with some of the best cards in this game. He's really well rounded besides that, stats and badges wise, but his jump shot is honestly very, very disappointing. Talking about 100 overall Shea, I mean, he's the best point guard in this game, so I think he obviously has to be in that S tier category. The best point guard, has really good jump shot, almost perfect dribble sigs, has SC Francis size up. He's just an absolute beast at the point guard position. Talking about his Dark Matter card, I would say B tier is probably a fair spot for Shea. I don't think he's as good as like a J-Kid or the 100 overall Luka, 100 overall Booker, but I do think he's probably better than Ant in my personal opinion. Talking about 100 overall Shaq, if Kristaps is an S, I think Shaq's also got to be in the S tier category. Two of the best power forwards in this game. Shaq does have an elite level jump shot. They changed his release. He's got amazing dribble sigs. I think Shaq's still probably in that like lower S tier category. Talking about Kevin Durant, if I'm being completely honest, he's probably like D to C tier. I do think he's better than Aaron Gordon for sure. I think I'll go C tier for Kevin Durant. Talking about Terry Dishinger, I think he's still a great small forward card, even though he's a bit undersized at small forward, only being 6'7". He does have a really good jump shot, really good dribble sigs. I still like Terry Dishinger as a great offensive small forward. Him and LeBron, I think, are definitely on that same ranking. I think they're both going to be in B tier. Really good small forward cards, just not the upper echelon of like a Chris Webber at the small forward position. I do think Giannis is probably going to be in that like low A tier category. Now, obviously not his invincible card, but I think his dark matter is still going to be in like low A. He still plays extremely good defense. He's still one of the best slashing cards in this game because of the animations that cards like Giannis and LeBron get. Just they play super well in the game, way better than maybe their stats and their badges might suggest. But I don't think Giannis can be anywhere near the S tier category, but I do think he's better than some of these cards, or most of these cards in B tier. But talking about Danny Granger, for me personally, I think he's like high C tier. Not a huge fan of that card, but I definitely think he's very solid at the small forward position. 100 overall Clay is really good. I think he's probably low A, I would say, for Clay. I do think he's really, really underrated at the shooting guard position. Magic Johnson, I would say, is on the same tier as Shea. I think they're great point guards, but I don't think they're like the best of the best point guards in this game anymore. We just have too many 100 overalls, that are really good. We have too many good dark matter point guards that have been coming out recently. Dark matter Joel Embiid, just put him next to Hakeem. I do that on every single tier list because Hakeem and Embiid, honestly, there is no difference between the cards. They play pretty much identical in game. I do think they're both going to be in B tier. Jalen Williams, maybe that's our first like D tier card. I'm just trying to get like a D tier card in here, and I don't know if I should move any of these cards down, but I feel like J-Dub's probably on that same level as like a Robert Covington, a Scottie Pippen, and a Paul George, so I guess I'll keep him in the C tier category. LaMelo Ball probably also in C tier. Has a good jump shot, 6'7" at point guard, but I just don't think he's all that great at the point guard position. Talking about Manu Ginobili, I think he's underrated. I'll probably throw Manu in that B tier category, a very underrated point guard in my team. I think Chet is A. I think Chet's defense really puts him above the Hakeems, the Embiids, those type of power forwards in the world. And I do think Chet's defense is super, super good, really good animations in game. And I also do like his jump shot. Pink Diamond Michael Beasley, I think is still, call me crazy, I still think he's A. I do think he's still one of the best small forwards in this game. Even though it's only his pink diamond card, he still has that crazy good jump shot, still has really good movement, and is still one of the best offensive cards in this entire game. So even though he doesn't have the defense and he might not have the crazy amount of Hall of Fame badges, but I do think he's still going to be an A tier. George Gerving, really underrated card. I would probably go B tier for George Gerving. Brandon Ingram, I'd probably go in like high C tier. Ron Artest, I would probably go low B tier. I think he's really good defensively, has a good jump shot, and one of the best defensive cards in this game. Now Kareem, I don't think I could go S tier anymore, but I do think Kareem is probably going to be an A tier. D-Rob, I think he's on that same ranking. I think D-Rob is also going to be in that A tier category. Talking about Lonzo Ball, to me, he feels like that perfect B tier point guard alongside a Shea, alongside a Magic, just really good defensive point guards, and can score a little bit. I think he's got a decent jump shot this year. 100 overall Tracy McGrady, I do think is the second best shooting guard in this game. I think for that reason, you got to put T-Mac in that S tier category. Really good jump shot, also does have that Steve Francis size up. I would say Kawhi is probably high A, or like sort of like that mid A tier. I do think he's probably the best dark matter shooting guard in this game. But when we're talking about the 100 overalls and the invincible, I don't think he's as good as T-Mac, Kevin Durant, and potentially Carmelo Anthony as well. So I do think Kawhi in the A tier category is a fair spot. Talking about Adam Morrison, to me, I think he's very overrated. Not a huge fan with that. Not a huge fan of that card. I think he's going to be in C tier. Andrew Wiggins is good. I'd probably put him like low B tier. Dyson Daniels is really good at point guard. I'm telling you guys, he can compete with these level of point guards right here: Magic, Shea, and Lonzo. Talking about the free 100 overall Tim Duncan, gonna put him in that B tier category. He is still a great power forward. He just doesn't have like the jump shot and the dribble sigs that the Pro Pass Tim Duncan has, which is going to allow the Pro Pass Tim Duncan to be an S tier card. I mean, KPJ base, really good jump shot, Pro 2 fade, has Garland dribble style, has amazing sigs, easily going to be in that S tier category. Talking about 100 overall Curry, I think C tier is probably a fair spot for him, kind of on that same ranking as an Anthony Edwards. Invincible Kevin Durant, I mean, it's an invincible card. There's only 2 in the game. He has one of the best jump shots. He has amazing dribble sigs. He's easily going to be a top 3 card in this game. I mean, just an absolute beast on the offensive end, and having 12 legend badges is insane. I think Moses Malone is probably going to be in that like low B tier. You guys flame me for having this card a lot lower on my last best cards tier list, and I have realized that Moses Malone is a lot better than I expected. So I do think he's going to be in that like low B tier category. He can compete with like the Hakeems and the Embiids of the world. Does play really good defense and does have a great jump shot. Carmelo Anthony, I don't know if this card is S anymore. I would say Carmelo Anthony is going to be in very high A tier alongside Chris Webber. I think Gary Payton, again, sort of in that same ranking between the Magics, between the Shays. Really good defender with a great jump shot. I think 100 overall MJ is still going to be S. Do I think he's the best point guard in this game anymore? No, I think Shai is slightly better at the point guard position, but I think 100 overall MJ is still a beast. I think Blake Griffin is also going to be in that A tier category. I don't think he's on the same level as a Beasley, a Giannis, in my personal opinion, but I do think he's one of the best small forwards in this game. Easily going to be in the A tier category. Marc Gasol, really good. I would say also probably A. Really good defensive card. Has an amazing quick jump shot. I would say on that same level as a Dark Matter Chet. Jerry Stackhouse for me is not as good as maybe some people expect, but I do think Jerry Stackhouse is going to be in the B tier category. 100 overall Vince. He's a great card. I think his jump shot is maybe, I think his jump shot's good, but I think his dribble sigs are maybe not the best in this world. And I feel like he doesn't play that much defense just because of his player model, but I do think he's still really, really good offensively. Gonna have Vince in A tier. I think AK probably also going to be in that higher A tier category, kind of on that same level as like a Blake Griffin and a Chris Webber. Really good defender with one of the best catch and shoot jump shots in this entire game. Talking about Joakim Noah, really good power forward option. Very similar card to Moses Malone in my opinion. I think Will Chamberlain is probably the second best center in this game and is the only card in this game that has a chance to guard 100 overall Yao. So I think for those two reasons specifically, he's an absolute beast, but I think for those two reasons, he's going to be an S tier. The fact that he can guard Yao, and I do think he's the second best center in this game, going to be an S tier. I think Stephon Castle, put him on the same tier as Jason Kidd. I do think he's slightly better than some of the, other point guards in this game at the Dark Matter tier like Magic, Gary Payton, Shai. I do like Stephon Castle a little bit more. Bull, overrated to me personally. I think he's great of a card. I think he's one of the best power forwards in this game, but I don't think he's in the A or S tier category. Talking about Tim Thomas, that is a card that is for me personally going to be an S tier. I think he's an absolute beast at small forward, has a really good jump shot, really good movement for a 6'10" small forward, one of the best offensive small forwards in this game. Dino Raja, probably going to fit in that like B tier category. Good defensively, has a good jump shot. 100 overall Patrick Ewing. Maybe that card can go in D if I'm being completely honest, because I don't think he's as good as some of these cards in C tier, but I do think he's better than an Aaron Gordon. Zach LaVine, for me personally, really, really good, but going to be in B tier. Penny Hardaway, I would say A tier. I don't know if he's still an S tier card. I think he's going to be in that very high A tier, again, alongside Carmelo Anthony and Chris Webber. Talking about Josh Smith, I think he's a really good small forward. Gonna put him in that like low A tier category. And then Oscar Robertson is probably also gonna be somewhere in that A tier category. And yeah, guys, that's gonna be my best cards tier list. I'm gonna quickly scroll through the tiers here, or I guess slowly scroll through the tiers here, so you guys can pause the video or just look and see where I did rank every single card. Let me know if you guys have any questions of why I ranked the card in a certain position, but obviously just let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions as well. And once again, all of these cards on this tier list I think are absolutely amazing and some of the best cards in this game. Even the cards in the C tier category I think are really, really good at their position. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about my tier list down below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.